Since COVID hit, I've been spending a lot more time at home. To stay active, I started to go for more walks, and when I had spare time, began looking for opportunities to rediscover interests that I hadn't made time for in a long while. I stumbled upon a podcast called Let's Learn Japanese from Small Talk and decided to test the use it or lose it theory. The podcast is produced by two young women who are 20-something. They discuss various topics based on their personal experiences, and the first episode I listened to was about Japanese exam culture. The two hosts had a lively discussion about the origins of why Japanese students eat Kit Kat chocolate bars for good luck before writing their entrance exams. What? Wait a minute. Did I understand what they were talking about? I was blown away. Not only did I estimate understanding about 75% of the podcast content, but now after so many years of wondering, I finally understood the obsession with Kit Kat in Japan. Now, I'm not a linguist, a psychologist, or a neurologist, but as a person who has studied a second language, I'd like to dive deeper into the use it or lose it theory. It all started 17 years ago. I was 17 and preparing for an experience of a lifetime. I had applied, was interviewed, and accepted as an outbound student for an International Youth Exchange with Rotary Club District 7080. This district selects which countries the students will go to, and I was surprised when a white envelope marked with my name would reveal that I would spend the next 12 months in Japan. The opportunity to go to Japan tipped a domino effect of happy accidents and curated decisions that would ultimately shape who I am today. I was born and raised in Canada in a small town in southern Ontario. Growing up, I had little exposure to French language, and while I enjoyed some travel, all of the places I had been to were in North America. Still, I had a very rich childhood. I was athletic and played a lot of sports. I completed Royal Conservatory grade 8 in piano, and I was very active in a lot of other extracurriculars. I didn't know it at the time, but it was through these experiences that I learned the skills I would need to master a second language. I'd like to call them my 5 principles for success. Discipline, to show up on time, be a good team player, and learn which rules could be bent and which could be broken. Perseverance, to keep going, challenge myself, and never stop trying. Practice, that I could improve my skills over time with effort. Spaced repetition, going over what I had learned again and again, but with breaks in between. And lastly, immersing myself, engaging, being curious, diving in with both feet with a willingness to try and giving it my all. Immersion, I think, may be the most complex of the 5. To really engage and be curious through this style of learning, I believe it's dependent on 2 key factors: interaction and imitation. I had to learn Japanese purely through memorization, and in the beginning relied heavily on facial expressions, gestures, and an English-Japanese dictionary to get by. Learning grammar and having some structure obviously helped, but I didn't spend my time poring over textbooks. I discovered the best way for me to learn was to immerse myself in social settings where it's easier to remember words and phrases associated to the experiences and activities you're taking part in, because context is everything. Imitation was my best friend. When I couldn't understand or invite conversation, I turned my focus to pronunciation, phonetics, inflection, intonation. I would also copy mannerisms and body language as I attempted to repeat everything that was said to me. Over time, I became more capable and confident in Japanese, and I completely fell in love with Japan. The juxtaposition of tradition and technology, beautifully manicured gardens, unbelievable architecture, undeniably delicious food, forward fashion, captivating art, hilarious game shows, pride for national sports, the fascinating beauty of each season, and of course, the people. I'm so thankful for the amazing people who welcomed me into their homes, befriended me, and supported me through those 12 months. Eventually, I would return to Japan in my 3rd year of university and would complete my degree with a minor in Japanese. Ironically, after coming back to Canada, I left still wondering why Japan sold so many Kit Kat flavored chocolate bars. Over the years, my Japanese began to slip, and it was harder to answer random questions from my mom or friends asking me to say random words or phrases in Japanese, and I became more shy if I had the opportunity to interact with Japanese tourists. The use it or lose it theory was proving true until that fateful day a podcast would resurrect my long-lost Japanese and finally put to rest something unknown to me for years. Kit Kat, which is pronounced in Japanese as Kitto Katto, is easily the most popular chocolate bar brand in Japan, for the simple reason that the name sounds like Kitto Katsu. Kitto meaning surely, and Katsu meaning to win. In the Kyushu region, where this tradition apparently began, the local dialect shortens Katsu to Katto. This little good luck charm embodies the message, win for sure, which is why Kit Kat is commonly given as a gift for school children taking their exams, or anyone really who needs a boost of luck. Findings from a study conducted from the University of Bristol, and which appeared in an issue of Psychological Science, suggests that exposing young people to foreign languages, even if they do not speak them, can have a lasting impact on speech perception. Although it may seem like we have absolutely no memory of the neglected language, new research suggests that this forgotten language may be more deeply engraved in our minds than we realize. My love for Japanese culture will continue to be a hobby of mine, and I feel great knowing that somewhere in my brain, Japanese isn't forgotten for good, but is tucked away for safekeeping. The authors of the study conclude that even if the language is forgotten or feels that way, after many years of disuse, leftover traces of the early exposure can manifest themselves as an improved ability to relearn the language. And that's exactly what I intend to do.